We are the Knights of the Drunk Watch, and
And
now our
talk
is,
is.
and that is Ben Saves Vanya.
Oh God, it took so long.
And we say goodbye to Ben.
I was sadder than I thought I would be that Ben is gone.
But why?
Because
I'm with you,
have
Zach.
emotions.
No, not you being sad. Yes, I'm sad too, but why did Ben have to die? I don't understand.
Oh, no idea.
Oh.
Because
Story,
by the time they get around to filming season 3, he won't look like anywhere close to a 13-year-old. They're 30 years old. He died 17 years ago.
Vanya's that powerful she could disintegrate astral matter?
I don't think that was it. I think that he held on to the real world to try and stay with his family, and then once he entered the metaphysical world or whatever, it's like, his unfinished business was done and it's time for Casper to go home,
That's a bridge we have to get.
This is not Vanya's power. This is Ben has gained this power through Klaus. So this has been basically sticking a square peg in a round hole. This is not where he belongs or should be.
I'm a drink for that.
Yeah, he used his knowledge of entering Klaus to enter Vanya. So I feel like it was a kamikaze entering.
I can understand her mind pushing him out. I can get with that. I'm getting pushed out. Okay.
He moved on. That's
Sure.
all it was. He moved on.
I know, but we are extrapolating a whole lot from very little.
He straight up said, I can let go, or I can, he's no, I made this choice.
But I took that as, I'm okay that I'm dying. Not that this is why I'm dying. It's just, it's okay.
Maybe it's
I understand Zach's maybe confusion, because I think even, dramatically, why is this moment the moment that he fulfills his purpose? Like they say, ghosts are hanging on until their purpose can be fulfilled. So why is this moment saving Vanya? Is that the moment where he...
Okay, this is how I would have fixed this problem. They should have showed us a little piece of Ben dying each time we get closer and closer to his purpose. That would have made more sense. With that. Would have been what was that, Ben? Oh, I think I don't know. I lost a
fading.
finger. I'm fading, or it was.
I felt like it shouldn't have been just Ben that saved him. It should have been Ben and Klaus, because Klaus, really, they needed Klaus's power, technically, I think, to imbue Ben with the energy to become physical, and he could have saved Vanya. And then even if entering her body was something he shouldn't have done because it would destroy him, because he wasn't supposed to be, he could only enter Klaus's body. So if we had an idea that he couldn't just possess anyone, that by going into someone else's mind, he put himself at risk, then he sacrifices himself for her.
Sure.
And he knows it going in.
Sure.
I may not come back, but this is how I'm gonna save Vanya.
Okay.
But we didn't, as you say, we didn't have that information. And so I was a little surprised, even though I was glad that Ben did it, I was surprised that he did it solo, because it's not tied to his power, and it's tied to Klaus's power, and Klaus was unconscious. We'll get back to Diego and Hargreaves, but 7:43.
That was another what is the
payoff?
It was just.
I don't know what's on that paper, so I have no idea if Lila is even interpreting it correctly, because Lila's that shit. She's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Lila literally...
And just immediately think oh, I know exactly what happened.
If she framed AJ, AJ tried to expose her. I mean, because why would AJ give that up if he had approved it? AJ tried to expose her. The handler had that covered by getting AJ's stamp on it. Did she also frame 5 for it?
The handler eating AJ. I said from the very beginning, why the fuck are we keeping the goldfish? What is the point of keeping the goldfish only to 2 days later, however long it was?
Quick direct response. This was the reason. She knew AJ would come up with that.
If she had planted false evidence in the 743 kill file, why did she grab the knife? What did she think Lila was going to come accuse her of that she would need to stab Lila for, as opposed to saying, we'll get him.
No, so why did the agent only take the first page of the fucking file? Why not take the whole file? And 2, why did she need a fucking goldfish to do that easy garden path? Like, I know where you can find the information you seek. It's in the file room, 7 of 5. Like, you could do that on your own. Like, you can leave secret notes. Like, we know that's a thing.
Setting aside the in-depth analysis, the 2-5 / Luther was my favorite part of this episode, and possibly the entire season.
It's like, how will believing old 5 is who he is change things? Because it's one thing when 5, the 5 they remember.
The 5 they remember,
Yeah, the 5 they remember showed up. And now there's like this 55-year-old man shows up and he's like, I'm 5. And they're like, fuck you. Oh, and so we were talking about Diego, like not bending the bullet and whatnot. Let's not forget how single-minded Diego can be.
Okay.
He thought he could save Kennedy by stopping his dad.
I don't understand, 1, why they didn't discuss that, or 2, why Diego just doesn't fucking know that they're not there to save Kennedy. Like, I feel like they've had that conversation, but maybe
of course, Diego isn't concerned about the timeline. And he sees an opportunity to save Kennedy, and he does say, we stopped the apocalypse by saving Vanya. Now I get to go save Kennedy.
Because Diego is more dangerous than Luther, because he is equally dumb, I think. Fully is bought into the fact that he is a superhero. Like, that's who he is.
If Kennedy had died in that FBI explosion, LBJ would have said, Russia attacked us. Let's go get them.
The handler said, we're going to war. So that kind of tells me that she's found a way to keep this timeline going.
I think that the war that they're going up against is whatever the fuck Hargreaves is.
But this war is like fully going to be dictated by the handler, because she killed the dude who saw what caused the alarm, and then seemed like she continued with what might be alarm procedure, which is call everyone back to get ready to go to war or something. If Reggie is an alien and he's just here to do, it seems like now, just experiments, because he just keeps fucking up and starting over. Like,
plus we're talking about Reggie. Reggie has a secret interest on the moon. Kennedy was supposed to live. What if Reggie's what if the 12 is what is the beginning of the time commission, and that the technology Reggie gives them is the technology to travel through time, so that the timeline that they're trying to preserve is everything that leads up to them getting the time travel technology.
Mm-hmm.
So they get the time travel technology and say, I don't know, 2019, they can continually go back, make sure Kennedy dies, make sure the Hindenburg crashes, make sure this happens, make sure that happens, because they don't want to screw up getting the technology.
But wait, then wouldn't you go back and like save yourself from getting murdered by Reggie at that point?
Well, but again, at some point, you can't keep up with the timeline, right? Otherwise, no one will
that
ever
seems
die.
like a pretty big event they'd try to stop. Like, I'm saying that what is happening now has happened before, and we're just following cyclically.
I think that's the end of this discussion.
All right.
Yeah,
so
take us out, Andrew.
That's the Drunk Watch.
And now our talk
has
has
ended.
Sexy trash.